morning, dear students. Welcome to another session of Cloud Computing and Big Data Analytics. So, we have learned about cloud computing, the advantages of cloud computing for a business organization, and how some assistance and planning is also given to the business organization to migrate to the cloud. So today we'll see about the strategy to implement cloud, and then the cloud design and how SOA, service oriented architecture, is implemented in the organization. The primary input for the cloud implementation actually comes from the cloud strategy for the business that is driving the cloud based implementation of one or more applications on the cloud. For implementing the cloud, the following planning are done. First thing is understanding the strategy, cloud strategy, and then defining the cloud application requirements, assess cloud readiness, define high level cloud architecture, identifying change management requirements, and developing roadmap and implementation plan. So, the following planning are to be done in any organization if they are going to migrate from the traditional way to a cloud computing approach. After knowing about the advantages and the profits that they gain when they move on to the cloud environment, a strategy must be devised to migrate the processes that are operating in the business organization, and also to identify the processes that might be changed over to the cloud environment. It's not compulsory to change all the operating functions of the company into the cloud environment. Whatever is more critical and in terms of customer service, um, priorities can be set in the various operating functionalities, and slowly the important functions can be immediately migrated to the cloud, and then the remaining functions may or may not be migrated. So in this phase, the high level structure of the cloud-based application is defined from the inputs of the previous step, the define cloud application requirements. The first step in the architecture development is the usage of existing assets. The assets can be the functionalities, the programs that they are already using, the softwares, etc. Whether they can be used in the cloud environment, whether they can be used for building the application, and how they can be leveraged in the cloud environment. The next step is to derive the high level structure of the solution from the IT requirements for cloud in the form of various artifacts. Some workshops may be conducted in the organization to identify the value of the various operating components in the company, and based on that, and based on the identification, a value proposition can be developed for the cloud computing in the enterprise. Also, priorities must be identified. A company may be having lots of functionalities, lots of operations. So, among the various operations, first they need to identify the important functions that has to be first and foremost migrated to the cloud, and they need to assess the company's strength, gap, and the readiness, the willingness of immediately switching over to the cloud environment in terms of certain functions and operations, and based upon the priorities and after identification of the strength of the various processes, the problems that they are having, a strategy or a plan methodology must be devised to migrate step by step to the cloud environment. And this strategy will definitely help the company to successfully implement their operations in a selected cloud. Previously, when they have opted for a cloud migration, they would have already analyzed the opportunities that they get, uh, the advantages that they get now because of the migration to the cloud, and how the cloud bridges the gap, how the problems that they have, and based upon these analysis, a high level cloud roadmap and value proposition can be developed. Also, this migration to the cloud environment, it will help them with the following benefits. The first and foremost is the reduced risk and faster deployment. Whatever applications or development they are performing, and those applications can be deployed at a very faster rate. And due to the identification of the gaps and the problems in the company after the migration of the migration to the cloud environment, all the problems would be sorted out, and there wouldn't be any more problems or risks in the company. And the second benefit is the improved service. Definitely, the after migration to the cloud environment, the particular business organization will be servicing their customers in a very faster and more efficient way, and to achieve their business and IT objectives. And the third benefit is the lower in the cost. We all know that the capital costs, the operating expense, everything will come down once they shift to the cloud environment. The next topic is on the cloud design and implementation using SOA. This is a very useful architectural style for implementing the applications in the cloud. Um, Adoption of a service oriented architecture um, provides one of the best ways to leverage and consume the applications serviced by a cloud. And this cloud based application consists of many various kinds of services, and these cloud offerings may in turn integrate and leverage services and systems from different environments. We all know that the cloud consists of various possible and different vendors, and these vendors will be using different kinds of platforms and applications written in various languages. So it's definitely a heterogeneous environment, and standardization across these environments is actually not possible, and hence they consist of heterogeneous environment. And a cloud service offering should be based on open standards that can be consumed by this environment. The services and applications provided in the cloud are actually language and platform independent services that are provided using standard based platform agnostic SOA architecture with the support for appropriate industry and technology standards. Next is the architecture overview. The architecture overview aim or main objective is to communicate the idea to the sponsor and the external stakeholders to understand the goals of the architecture. It offers a layered conceptual model of the application services. If we take a look at the architectural model, we'll be able to view the various services in the cloud environment, the various layers in it, and we would be getting a better idea of the application. and it also provides a high level vision, so we will be able to visualize the architecture and its scope for the company or the developers. This stage enables early recognition and validation of the implications of the cloud based approach, and it facilitates very good effective communication between the different stakeholders and the developers. So, in this session, we have seen the strategy uh, that has to be followed when a company decides to move to a cloud environment, and the steps in cloud implementation, planning, and the uses of infrastructure strategy and planning, its benefits in the organization. We have seen a little bit about the cloud design and implementation using service oriented architecture, and we have just learned what is the overview and what is the usage of the architecture to the different stakeholders. And now let us move on to the next topic, conceptual cloud model. I already told you in the previous topic that the conceptual cloud model, it gives you a complete overview or a picture, and it helps the stakeholders and the different people in the organization also to understand the cloud model, the various services in the cloud model, and how the various layers are present in the model. So, this conceptual this conceptual model, it's a system in terms of its software components with their responsibilities, the interfaces that are present there, the relationships, and how they collaborate to deliver the required functionality. So if you have a diagram in this, and from the diagram you can see the various components in the cloud model, the responsibility, the functionality of each and every model, and how these components, and how the various components interface with each other, and the relationship, and how they collaborate to provide the required functionality. The highest level of the conceptual model is a set of cloud based offerings. Okay. Conceptual model is basically for the understanding of the stakeholders and the users of the cloud architecture or cloud approach. Okay, so to understand the model at the highest level is the offerings. The highest level meaning, when you just think about the cloud approach, what comes to the mind of the user is the various services that is provided by the cloud. Now these are derived based on the business intent and business functionality. The model is designed based on a particular organization's requirement. Okay, and these conceptual components which form the offerings, they align tightly to the business intent that initiated the creation of the cloud based offerings. And these offerings can also be broken down and depicted in a layered composition. Also, you can still more, you can break it and you can show it as a layered composition. The conceptual model can also be broken down with various elements, which are the offerings of the cloud. So they are high level service components that form the services, and then there is a components which provides the services, and then the resources that support the cloud services, and then the technical components that provide the underpinning or main cloud service and support the non-functional needs of the cloud application. And then you have several internal and external services that are leveraged by the cloud application services. So all these elements can be seen in the conceptual model, which is this. So this is a cloud model, that is developed for a particular organization. For each and every organization that is migrating to the cloud, a conceptual model is drawn so that they will understand the various offerings of the cloud to that company, along with the various layers and the interfaces between them, and how they interact and collaborate to offer the various services or the functionality. Okay, and they also these can also be broken down into various elements also, which will help them to visualize in a more better way, or they can understand it in a better way. So now in this cloud model you can see various components in the picture. On the right hand side you have the agreements, the performance, the accounting, how they account for each of the services provided by the cloud, and the configuration management, how they develop and provision the various services, and then data protection, and you have the infrastructure services. These are the various offerings of the cloud. And again on the left hand side you have certain policies and the standards that are followed in the cloud environment, which helps a company to better manage and have a more control over their operations and data. And in the center you have the various services that are offered by a cloud. You have the self-service delivery, and then you have the business applications, the various applications that can be used for faster development and deployment of a company's operations. You have various databases, middleware, and runtime environments. You have the operating systems, you have the virtualization software, and you have the network, the storage, server, etc. So this conceptual cloud model, it shows you the various offerings, and you can also see the components, how they interact and collaborate to achieve the functionality. The dynamic interactions and dependencies between the various components can also be seen here, and the components that comprise the cloud services provided by the application, and also the subcomponents can also be seen in this. Yeah, this is what I just told you about. You can also see the security and the privacy principles in this cloud model also. Security, one of the very, very important, crucial um, offering or the service provided by the cloud, and also the various governance provided by the cloud architecture. You have the various authentication and access control, you have the protection for the data, and also you have the various logging and the alerting notifications also. So in this session, second part of the session, we have seen what is the conceptual cloud model. This can be asked as a separate question. Now, this model is actually helpful for the stakeholders and the users and for the business organization to understand more about the services, the offerings, the functionality of the cloud, and it's actually a model which is used for visualizing the various offerings of the cloud. And we have seen a little bit about the security, privacy, and the governance in the cloud model. I hope you have understood today's lecture of two different topics, and the materials have been taken from this textbook by Dr. Kumar Saurabh. And thank you for listening to this session. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye bye.